Who is that down there? Yeah. Wait, Chris? No. I'm trying not to freak out right now.
Look, seriously.
What now? I guess we'll have to walk to the store.
Hey.
Let's see if it starts. It started.
These ancient peaks hold secrets that predate humanity, turning any Appalachian encounter into a brush with the unknown. From hidden bunkers buried under 20 years of growth to 200-year-old phantom doorways. What is waking up? A man was making deliveries late at night somewhere in the Appalachian region when something unusual near the roadside caught his attention. Along the quiet stretch of forest, he noticed a shape that seemed out of place against the still surroundings. Curious about what he had seen, he slowed his vehicle and tried to look more closely. Before he could get a clear view, the shape disappeared back into the darkness. He was left wondering whether exhaustion had affected what he saw, or whether something really had been standing near the tree line. Then his headlights passed across a playground. Sitting on one of the swings was what appeared to be a small child moving gently back and forth. The sight immediately felt strange. There were no nearby houses, no visible driveways, and nothing that explained why a child would be sitting alone there in the middle of the night. The slow movement of the swing made the scene even more unsettling. The driver pulled over and tried to understand what he was looking at. When he looked toward the playground again, the child was no longer there. The swing, however, was still moving. It continued swaying and creaking in the cool night air, almost as though someone had only recently left it.
Hey, fucking look at this. Fucking motherfucker on it. Look, seriously.
The driver became deeply uneasy. It was not the cold that bothered him, but the growing feeling that stopping there had been a mistake. Unable to explain what he had seen, he returned to his vehicle and quickly drove away, leaving the empty playground and moving swing behind in the darkness. Low light and fatigue can make distant shapes difficult to recognize, especially late at night. That may explain part of what the driver saw, but not everything. Was it simply a strange mistake, or was something really sitting on that swing? A stalled car in the middle of nowhere is already a problem. But what they heard outside made the situation much harder to explain. One night, while traveling with a friend along an isolated back road, their car suddenly stopped working. With nowhere nearby and darkness around them, the situation quickly became uncomfortable.
We are in the middle of nowhere. My door is locked. Oh my god. I can't even get out. There we go. Okay, hold on. You figure it out. I want to know why press the button back. Right there. Right there. On the door handle, like above the door handle. I don't know. What are we gonna do? What now?
I guess we'll have to walk to the store.
Hey.
What do we do? What was that?
I don't know. Did you hear that?
Yeah, we better get back in the car.
Yeah, we better.
Oh no, it's locked. Why is the car? How do you fix this? This is scary. Oh my god. Did it lock? No. What's the deal with this car? I don't understand.
You have to unlock it for me.
Something weird has happened with this car.
What's going on?
Let's see if it starts. It started.
Waiting for connection.
What was that?
Ashley, I do not like this.
Oh my god.
Let's get out of here. Go. Does it run? Is it working?
Yes, it is. It's working. Thank
As they waited, a voice seemed to come from somewhere close by. At first it was faint, but then it became easier to hear through the quiet woods. They got back inside the vehicle, and only seconds later, a hard knock struck the window. The sound made it seem as though someone could be standing just outside the car. Some viewers later questioned the footage because Allie could be seen smiling during parts of the encounter. Others pointed out that fear does not always look the same. Some people laugh or smile when nervous because the body can react to stress in unexpected ways. Living in Appalachia may also mean hearing many stories about unexplained sounds and unusual encounters. For some people, humor can be one way to stay calm when a situation begins to feel frightening. The source of the voice was never clearly identified. It could have been a person, a sound carried through the trees, or something the two friends could not explain at the time. Whatever caused the voice and the knock, the moment clearly disturbed them. Do you think someone was really outside the car, or did the darkness make an ordinary sound feel far more threatening? Would you stay overnight in a forest connected to unmarked graves and violent stories? They did, but the deeper they went, the harder the night became to explain. One night in June 2024, YouTuber Jasko and his friend Chris returned to the place known as the Serial Killer Forest. The location carries disturbing stories involving dismembered remains that were reportedly hidden there by members of the mafia and a local doctor. Their investigation begins near an old cemetery where some victims were said to have been buried under false names. The area is also connected to reports of hundreds of unmarked graves and stories of dark rituals.
We are right in front of one of the most haunted cemeteries. The things that have occurred within not only the cemetery but this forest are downright dark, twisted, terrifying. The Serial Killer Forest. What was that? Oh, okay, go, Chris, go. Oh my God, go. All right, guys, this is our campsite right here. This is where we're gonna be staying inside of this terrifying forest. We are right in front of one of the most haunted cemeteries in the world. There's a reason why the locals around here call this the Serial Killer Forest. There was a man by the name of Bernard Hatch who used to take his victims, dismember their bodies, and hide them all throughout this forest.
While exploring near a lake, they discover a soaked jacket and a disturbing bunny doll left among the brush.
Everything is still here. Looks like nothing's really changed. So the first place that we wanted to visit in this forest was this lake. We've actually never been down to the water, and this lake is the spot rumored to be where the mafia used to dump bodies in. We uncovered some more information about this forest with the doctor who used to do strange practices to his patients, and if there were patients that he kind of messed up on, he would try to hide them in this lake as well. Now, we can't confirm this. Nicholas, we got a name?
Cool.
Nicholas?
You are almost there.
Nicholas, are you in the lake? Guys, we're gonna be going all throughout this forest again. We're trying to find this house that's somewhere here. Not only that, we're gonna revisit the haunted cemetery, the haunted cabin deep in the woods, and we're also gonna be staying here the whole night. Really wanna go down to that lake, Chris, because we've never been down there.
I know, we found the trail. We never went last time.
Let me just see if anyone's been cooking.
One moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, no worries. Take your time, okay.
Yeah.
That was a very quick moment. It was like,
Thought
thanks.
that was quick. That was
Nicholas.
really quick.
Oh, remember this, Chris? This was like that
Still here.
jacket.
It generally just seemed like somebody was like ran out, and I thought they were gonna come back. Like I generally assumed that like.
During a spirit box session, the name Nicholas appears, adding another strange moment to the investigation near the water. The night takes another turn when Jasko finds an abandoned track phone. Messages on the device appear to mention a completed job and a metal box without a serial number hidden inside a nearby cabin.
Oh, I see
Phone,
that,
bro.
I see that.
What is this?
Because the phone doesn't match.
TCL?
I thought they made TVs.
Oh,
You're lying,
shut
bro.
the fuck up.
Jackpot.
Wait, I exited on a Saturday. That genuinely makes
Like
me
it
feel
died.
like they died on Saturday.
That was a girl's name, and it said Saturday.
Paige.
Oh,
Sinister intent.
Car.
Hello? It's a track phone.
Am I having PTSD flashbacks from Best Buy?
Yeah, when customers used to be like, can you put minutes on my track phone?
No, I can't actually. Sorry. Hello?
Yeah, who's out there? It's dead.
What do we do with it then? I mean, do we just leave it?
It's a micro. I think I have a micro in the truck. We could try. This shit
Can
is
check it
dirty
out.
as shit. I really
But
don't
if
want.
the date said December 30th, I mean, it's 6 months. I mean, there's no way that.
Later at the cemetery, a branch suddenly breaks in the darkness. Then Jasko hears his name being called. The voice sounds exactly like Chris, even though Chris is standing beside him.
Saw a light over there. I saw a light over there.
Okay.
Set boundaries.
Set boundaries. All right. I have you guys on a very mossy rock right now. Well, here's my boundaries. You cannot
Imaginably.
harm me or my friend Chris. He's back there. You cannot hurt us. We are protected. And we just want to help the spirits who weren't able to help themselves.
Follow your instincts.
My instincts are telling me to go home. Is that like best case scenario? Sorry, I don't have balance. I'm also freaking out.
Erode.
Erode. A lot of the graves are... That was a branch. Who is that down there? Yeah. Wait. Chris? No.
Scare.
Scare, yes. Yes, I'm scared, yes. No. I'm trying not to freak out right now.
Near what they describe as a ritual tree, the two hear a deep growling sound. Soon after, a powerful bang strikes the back of their truck. They check the surrounding woods with a thermal camera, but nothing can be seen moving nearby.
Something doesn't sound... Is there anyone here? Chris, did you hear that?
Yeah,
It sounded like it came from over there.
I know.
What was that? Oh, okay. Go. Chris, go. Go, Chris.
Are you good?
Go. I'm right behind you.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't fucking know. I don't want to be here.
Like, actually, what's going on?
Okay, hold on. What were some of the...
Where are you at?
What were some of the names on the phone again?
Mine said Marie. Earlier, just a while ago, we were getting what? Ralph?
Yes,
Ralph
Ralph.
as well. Astranzo or something, and Jeffe.
Jeffe, Esposa,
Esposa,
Gio,
Jeffe. Gio, you guys
Do you know about what happened to Gio?
dead?
Later, during a sudden thunderstorm, something begins striking the outside of their tent. Jasko then says he feels what seems like a hand touching him through the tent wall. At that point, they leave the area quickly.
Guys, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm using Chris's phone right now because my phone died, my camera died. Literally everything is going wrong. But our biggest concern right now is we think someone might be outside our campsite. And there's the thunder.
Strike me down, please. I'm ready.
No, Chris, put that shit.
I heard the thunder. Was that a car door?
That sounds like a car door. It's not mine. Mine's...
Is the alarm off maybe?
Sound can be difficult to locate accurately in a dense forest because trees and uneven terrain may change how it reaches the listener. A thermal camera also only shows detectable heat differences within the area. It can see, so an empty image does not always explain the source of a sound. The sounds may have had an ordinary source hidden by darkness and the storm, but the timing made the experience difficult for them to dismiss. What do you think was really outside the tent that night? TikTok user Appalachian Decay lives in a 200-year-old farmhouse deep in the woods of the Appalachian Mountains in West Virginia. In a house that old, strange creaks and drafts are nothing unusual, so when she first began hearing noises from the basement, she assumed rats or another animal had found a way inside. Still, the sounds continued to bother her. Curious and uneasy, she grabbed her phone, started recording, and went downstairs to check. That was when the situation changed. As she approached one of the old basement doors, the handle suddenly jerked violently, almost as if someone on the other side was trying to pull it open. There was no wind, no animal nearby, and no obvious loose hinge that could explain the sudden movement. But the most disturbing detail came next. The door does not open into another room or hallway. Behind it is a solid wall, meaning there should be no space for anyone or anything to stand on the other side.
These are the steps that lead out. I don't know what that is, but if you look, it's been sealed from the inside and the outside.
Appalachian Decay says she still has no explanation for the noises or the movement of the handle. She hopes the old house itself may be responsible, but the experience was enough to make her much more careful around parts of the home she once ignored. Old houses can produce unexpected sounds as wood and other materials shift over time. That may explain some noises, but it becomes harder to apply that explanation when a handle appears to move so suddenly. For now, the basement door remains firmly shut. Maybe the cause is hidden somewhere in the structure of the old farmhouse, or maybe something else was responsible. What do you think made the handle move? Mandy lives deep in the Appalachian mountains where her home is surrounded by thick woods and long stretches of isolation. To keep watch over the property, she uses several CCTV cameras with motion and sound detection. Most alerts are ordinary. The cameras usually capture deer moving through the brush, raccoons searching for food, or other animals passing nearby. Then, one evening, Mandy receives an alert unlike anything she has recorded before. The clip begins with a sharp whistle. Soon after, a quiet voice can be heard, sounding almost as if someone is asking to be let inside. Mandy immediately checks the camera, expecting to find someone near the porch. Instead, the entrance is empty. The surrounding woods appear still, and no person can be seen. Yet the whispering continues, sounding unusually close to the camera. Some viewers believe they can make out a face somewhere among the trees, although the footage does not show anything clearly enough to confirm it. What remains is the whistle and the strange voice with no visible source. Still uneasy, Mandy checks another camera. This time, the same pattern appears on the doorbell recording. First comes the whistle, followed again by a voice that sounds like it is asking to be let inside. It seems clearer and closer, almost as if someone is standing near the lens. But once again, the camera shows no one there. To address the possibility that someone might be hiding outside the frame, Mandy shares footage from a third camera mounted higher than the others. From that angle, the area around the house is more visible, leaving less space for someone to remain unseen. Even so, the strange audio continues. Several days later, very late at night, the whispering returns. This time, the request sounds longer, clearer, and more insistent. Then on the following night, the situation becomes even stranger. A recording from inside the house captures a deep rumbling sound with what seems to be whispering underneath it.
I gotta change it. It's all wet. Maybe I have to. It's all wet. Man, some of the things. Yes. I know. I tried giving you the bubbles. You wouldn't take the bubbles. Now you have nothing for bubbles. Oh.
I'm just getting another bottle.
Mandy says she did not hear any of this while it was happening and only noticed it later in the recording. Some viewers suggest that someone may have accessed the camera system and played audio through it. Mandy responds by showing how normal two-way communication through the camera actually sounds.
So I'm going to upload a video just showing you what it sounds like if someone were, what it sounds like when I talk through the ring, what it sounds like on my end. I just wanted to see what it sounded like because I wasn't sure. It's very loud. There's like an echo, but I don't know if it was because I was standing next to because I was standing so close to the actual ring device. We also have 24/7 professional monitoring, triggers of the alarm, but also it monitors for hacking, people hacking into your computer. So I'm gonna upload it here. I don't think that's what it was because I think I would have heard it. And to be honest with you, I didn't hear any whispering Like in the moment, I didn't hear any of that whispering even when I was watching it. Like it sounds like a man's voice at around 45 seconds. And once I started seeing all of the comments saying that there was whispering, and I had to put my earbuds in and turn it all the way up to hear it, but I do hear it now. So this is what it sounds like if someone were talking through it. Hello? So if I'm talking through, I cannot see because it sounds very loud if somebody was hacking and talking through that camera. Can you hear the echo?
Noting that the result is much louder and has a different echo and interference pattern. Others suggest animals, birds, or wind moving around the structure as possible explanations. Those ideas may fit some of the outdoor sounds, but the indoor recording remains harder to understand. Security camera microphones can sometimes change how distant sounds are heard. Compression, echo, and background noise may make unclear sounds seem more voice-like than they really are. That could help explain some outdoor recordings, but it does not fully settle the question of the similar audio captured inside the house. Whether the recordings have an ordinary cause or something not yet identified, Mandy's experience leaves one question behind. What was creating the voice that seemed to keep asking to be let inside? Cody had lived on his property for 22 years without experiencing anything unusual. Then one afternoon, while mowing the yard, he noticed a strange patch of grass that had not been there before. The area appeared flattened and oddly shaped, and Cody could not think of anything in the yard that should have caused it.
So I was mowing the yard yesterday and seen this little square patch of grass. It's never been here before. It kind of sank, and I came over here with a shovel and tapped on it. It's some kind of door. I've been here 22 years and this has never been here before, so I really don't know what to think about it. About 1944, there was an old cabin here that burnt down. It may be some kind of well or storm cellar or something. I may dig it up if enough people show any kind of interest in it and want to know what it is.
Curious, he decided to inspect the spot more closely. Beneath the grass, he discovered a heavy metal door buried in the ground. Opening it was difficult, but after considerable effort, Cody finally managed to lift it.
It wasn't easy, but it's open. I don't know if it's an old septic or an old well. I had about a 15-foot stick of conduit. I stuck it down in there and couldn't touch the bottom. And I'm gonna stick in there and pump all the water out and see what in the world is down there. As long as it ain't an old septic. I see what y'all think. If anybody knows, let me know. That's what it was. Had no idea it was here, so now y'all know.
Below the door was a deep underground space that looked like it could have been an old well or an abandoned storm shelter. Cody used a long metal rod to test the depth, but even then he could not reach the bottom. That evening, strange sounds reportedly began echoing from beneath the house, almost as if something were moving through unseen spaces below. Cody took his camera and entered the basement to investigate. What he recorded there left the situation even more disturbing.
What the fuck?
The discovery raised a troubling possibility. Old underground structures can slowly disappear from view as soil and vegetation cover their entrances. That may explain why Cody had lived there for 22 years without noticing the door, but it did not explain what happened later. Could the sounds beneath the house have been connected to the hidden structure in the yard? Or was the timing only a coincidence? Whatever the explanation, finding the buried entrance and then hearing unusual sounds below the home made the situation difficult to ignore. Do you think the two events were connected, or was Cody simply dealing with two unrelated mysteries? For years, hikers in Appalachia have told stories about strange staircases standing alone in the woods. One TikTok user shared the story of a man who found one while hiking the Appalachian Trail.
This comment right here, and I started doing a little more research. There have been so many reported sightings of these abandoned staircases in the Appalachia woods. The story I'm about to tell you is chilling. This man had been hiking the Appalachia Trail for a few weeks when he came across this abandoned staircase in the woods. And that the stairs actually were like very clean. The staircase was like immaculate. Intrigue got the best of him, so he decided he would go up and just check it out. But he said as soon as he got to the top, everything just got eerily quiet. It was nothing too interesting, so then he just turned around and went back.
The staircase looked strangely clean, despite the leaves around it. Curious, he climbed to the top, unaware of what would happen next. After hours of searching, he found several hikers, but their presence was far from reassuring. Terrified, he eventually escaped,
Got to the bottom of the stairs, the trail was gone. He wandered around trying to find his trail for hours. And he was really nervous that he was going to be stuck out there all night. And that's when he saw this like faint glowing light through the trees. He noticed that it was a fire and it was a couple of other hikers that were camping out for the night. But then something was off. He said their clothes were super out of date. And he said that their backpacks, like nylon backpacks, they were like these canvas totes. He said he walked up to the group and introduced himself. They just smiled at him. He was really freaked out at this point. I'm lost. Can you all point me back to the trail, please? And they all just slowly pointed back in the direction of the staircase. At this point, he is freaking terrified. Eventually, he was able to find his way back down to the trail. And this is the really freaky part. Once he gets back down the trail a little ways, as soon as he starts unloading his bag to put up his tent, the sun starts coming up.
When he stopped to camp, the sun was already rising. What felt like a few hours had lasted all night. Maybe he simply got lost and lost track of time, or maybe something stranger happened. Would you have climbed those stairs? This unsettling footage comes from Dee's dark adventures on YouTube. Dee sets out alone on what she expects to be a normal hike along a remote trail near the Appalachian Mountains. Before long, she begins to feel that something is following her from a distance. It seems to move when she moves and stop when she stops. As she continues deeper along the trail, Dee becomes increasingly convinced that whatever is out there is tracking her. She eventually manages to leave the woods, but the encounter does not appear to end there.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. Yep. I can't go home. Please, I'm leaving. What is that? No! What is it? Dude, no! It looks like a person, man. But no person. I need a person. Ah! It just keeps getting up and down. Stop! Somebody drive by.
The footage is difficult to make out clearly, but near the edge of the tree line, a dark shape appears low to the ground. Moments later, it seems to slowly rise onto two legs. Dee becomes visibly frightened. Her breathing grows heavier, and the fear in her voice becomes clear as she tries to put more distance between herself and the woods. Even after reaching open ground, she remains uneasy, as if whatever she saw might still be somewhere nearby. The Appalachian region is filled with dense forests, hidden terrain, and wildlife that can remain difficult to see. Still, the figure in Dee's footage leaves room for debate. Darkness, distance, and thick vegetation can make shapes difficult to identify accurately. Fear can also affect how quickly the brain interprets unclear movement, especially when someone already believes they may be in danger. Was it an animal seen from a strange angle, a person hiding near the trees, or something harder to explain? What do you think was following Dee? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.